Rivas, Rivas. Alright, good morning vlog. Today is my first real day in Nicaragua. I'm in the town of Rivas right now. Just took the camioneta, the chicken bus from San Juan. Got scammed, paid double or triple the price, but it's okay, it was only like $2. Got a guy on a horse at the bus stop. Alright vlog, just got to a little town on Matagalpa. It looks like a really nice town so far though. Island life. Alright guys, I am in Ometepe in Nicaragua. It's time for me to sit down and really talk about why I am so excited to be in this country. Last year I was in Guatemala and I brought along this book, Bitter Fruit by Stephen Kinzer. It was a really good companion guide to experiencing Guatemala for the first time. I learned a lot about bananas, about Latin America as a region, and especially US involvement in Latin America. It was a really interesting read while I was in the country. The author, Stephen Kinzer, has another book on Nicaragua, so this time I am back in the region again with this book and experiencing Nicaragua with this with me. While I'm in Nicaragua, it's going to be a lot of visiting cities that have a lot of history associated, a lot of recent history associated with it. Right now, I'm in Ometepe. It's a really well-known place for nature and for the two volcanoes that stick out of the island. Tomorrow, I'm planning on hiking up the volcano. And after that, I don't have any plans after the day after tomorrow. So everything is just going to happen as it happens, and that's the best way to travel. Yes. Yep. Alright, good morning vlog. No volcano hike today. I couldn't get a group up on the mountain and I didn't want to do it myself. So instead, I got a motorbike. This is going to be my trusty steed for the time that I'm here in Ometepe. When I rented the bike, the guy was like, "Do you have experience riding a scooter?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." It's my first time, but it's not as hard as riding a bike. It handles pretty well. Never been on a scooter before, but first time for everything, right? Gotta put this in. Oh, I gotta put the brake on. Okay, hold on. Alright, it's still scary turning this thing on, but I think I got it. We're gonna go around the island. Let's go. Look at that, guys. That's Concepcion. I would have been up there today. Alright, vlog. I've been on this bike for like an hour now. This island is huge. And look, there's a beach. I'm gonna go to the beach. Check it out. I'm fine. This is not the ocean, this is Lake Nicaragua. You can see it on the other side, over there, in the distance. This lake is huge. It is one of the biggest lakes in Central America. I think it is the biggest lake. I now see why so many people love this island, because it's very rustic and it feels very untouched. I feel like I'm riding like back in the 50s or something, where there's just not much modern technology on the island. And I feel like in a lot of other developed countries, when you go to more rustic places, it feels very run down, very not taken care of. But this island feels like there's a lot of care and love put into it by the people that live here. I see why people love this place. Alright guys, it's the next day and I'm headed off the island right now. Ometepe Island was pretty nice. However, this is not my bike, is it? Yeah, this is my bike. Sorry, I put my key in the wrong bike. Ometepe Island was great. It was just kind of quiet here. So I'm headed off to the mainland. Gonna head to my next spot of Granada. Alright, el mochilero por la motocicleta.
Granada. Puede ser un colectivo en $10 a Granada. $10 por persona. $10 por persona a Granada. $10 por persona a Granada.
The chicken bus from Rivas to Granada, yeah. That's what I'm mentioning. That's $5, right? Is that $5? No, $150 is the chicken bus. Okay, how much is that in dollars? No, I think $150.
It's like $3.
Oh, it's really, really cheap to go.
Granada.
Siempre fue. Nunca supiste mis ternuras comprender.
Now, one of the most interesting phenomenons I've encountered here in Nicaragua is there's a lot of Chinese influence here in the country. So I'm currently in a Chinese department store, if you can call it that, here in Granada, Nicaragua. And look, everything's in Chinese. The cashier, the owner person there is in Chinese. Look at the sign. It's in Chinese. I don't know who's buying this stuff here in Nicaragua. We've got La Fufus. What the? Clogure toothpaste. Clogure toothpaste. Ofrebe. Cool White. Got Crosost instead of Crest. It's just really interesting that everywhere you go, you'll see Chinese products. It's crazy. Picked up a papaya today for $1 from the market. I've never cut a papaya before. We're gonna try it out and see if I can get this right or not. I honestly just Googled it and seems like I did a pretty good job. I mean, I don't think it's supposed to be hard to cut a papaya, is it? Getting all the seeds out. One of my intentions for coming to Nicaragua was to eat more fruit. So I'm gonna try and eat more fruit. All right, got a full avocado as well from the market. Look how big this is. This thing is huge. Also $1. Oh. Just eating a papaya straight from the papaya. This is like a completely new way to live my life, and I think I love it. It's crazy. Alright guys, I've made it to the capital of Nicaragua. I am in Managua, Nicaragua. And this is a city that most tourist people that come visit this country skip because there isn't really much to see or do or anything here in Managua. However, I have been reading that book by Stephen Kinzer, and Managua is pretty central to everything that happens in this country. Obviously, it's the capital. But yeah, we are in the center of Managua. Right in front of me over here is the original Managua Cathedral. In the 1960s, 70s, I'm not sure exactly when, there was an earthquake that destroyed a lot of the city. And this cathedral miraculously survived. Over here, behind everything, you see the flags, Nicaraguan colors, and the Sandinista colors as well. The Sandinistas are the ruling party here in Nicaragua. There's the Palacio Nacional. I'm not sure if that's the house, the home, the White House, the courthouse. I just saw a couple people go inside the Palacio Nacional. Let's see if I can do the same. ¿Es un museo?
Este es un museo. ¿Qué lugar los visita?
Sí.
¿De qué país?
Singapur.
Singapur. ¿Ese?
Asia.
Asia. Sí, este es el Museo Nacional.
Para ingresar tiene un costo, pueden pasar adelante sin ningún compromiso.
¿Cuánto cuesta?
Ahí le va a explicar ella.
It's an art gallery. The president does not live in there. It's still pretty cool though. Back behind me were the monuments of the fathers of the revolution, a lot of the people that shaped the revolution here in Nicaragua, that overthrew the dictatorship in the 70s and 80s. And here in front of me right now is the monument to Rubén Dario. He was a Nicaraguan poet whose command of the Spanish language was allegedly so strong that he made a lot of waves in Spain and in Europe. And for his time period in the early 1900s, this was basically unheard of anyone here in Central America. It's a very influential Nicaraguan intellectual. The sun is really beating down here. The sun has been absolutely horrible here in Nicaragua. The UV has got to be like 10 or something right now.
Agua.
¿Cuánto cuesta? 50. Oh, water has never felt so good before. This heat is unbearable. You know, with those monuments, the Palacio and the cathedral, I think that really is all there is to see here in Managua. So I can see why most people skip the place. I'm now on this malecón, this lakefront of some sort, and it's pretty. This is Lake Managua, I think, and I've seen a lot of these trees along the roads, and I have a feeling it's like all roads lead to Managua or something. In the distance over there, that little silhouette right there, that is, I believe, the silhouette of Augusto Sandino, who was the figurehead of the revolution in 1979. Now, Augusto Sandino was a revolutionary in the 30s, I believe, whose ideology was basically anti-imperialism, and he stood up against the United States Marines during that time period. It was very inspiring for a country. The revolution in the 70s, 80s took his figure, his symbol, for their cause. And that's why they're called the Sandinistas. They symbolize everything that Sandino fought for: anti-imperialism, anti-United States. That's why we have this country we have today. And over there, I'm not sure whose monument that is. The Sandinista flag on the left, Nicaraguan flag in the middle, and the Venezuelan flag for some reason. Because why not? Alright guys, Managua has a lot of different faces, and here we see another one of them, Metro Centro. Just spent my afternoon seeing whatever tourist sites there are of Managua, which there isn't really a lot of, admittedly. Now I'm staying near this mall, which is a pretty fancy mall by Nicaragua standards. It's a very different vibe from the markets and stuff that I've seen so far. It's a very clean, very shiny, very polished place to get all of your goods. And earlier, coming back from the little downtown area, I figured I'd be a little adventurous, even though Managua is not the safest place in the world, and take public transport back here. I didn't know which bus to take, so I just asked some guy to help me, and he took me out to the market, and he asked me to change to this other bus that would take me back here somehow. It just felt a little sketchy. I didn't really like the eyes on me, so I got off the bus, immediately got in a taxi. That just was the right decision to make, I think. I just didn't really want to be standing on the street. So I got in. The first thing the driver asked is, China? I'm like, sure, I'm Chinese now. And I cooked up this whole story about how I'm here for business, and I speak elementary business Spanish. I work in the clothing business, and he asked for my business card, and I don't have a business card. But all in a day's work, Managua was a very interesting place. I am actually really glad I'm getting out of here tomorrow. But it was nice while it lasted. Managua, Nicaragua.
¿Y en qué provincia viven en China?
La capital.
En
Pekín.
Pekín. Mira, tu presidente, un buen presidente.
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping es ingeniero químico. Claro, sí. Es muy desarrollado tu país, China. ¿Sabe qué se vende mucho aquí en Nicaragua? Celulares, tablets, todo eso vende como pan.
¿Cuál es más fuerte? ¿China o Estados Unidos?
No, China.
China.
China. China, claro que China. Estados Unidos solo es tapa, bla, bla, bla. ¿Me entiendes? Pero China no. China tiene un gran desarrollo, tiene muchas armas, tiene muchos misiles, ¿me entiendes?
Sí.
Está súper desarrollado China.
Sí.
Lo que Estados Unidos lo que le tiene a China es envidia. ¿Sabes qué es envidia?
Ajá.
Envidia que tú vendes mucho más en mi tienda y yo no vendo en la mía, ¿me entiendes? No, mira que se quiere robar el petróleo de Irán, Estados Unidos, a como se robó el petróleo de Venezuela.
Sí.
Y tu país, el presidente le dice de que no se metan con ellos.
¿Te gusta el presidente Trump?
No, si fue puto, ojalá y se muera, ojalá y lo maten. Si fue puto un delincuente, ladrón. ¿Sabes qué es ladrón?
No.
Ladrón que roba como el ratón, el queso. ¿Ya me entiendes? Aquí en Metrocentro, ¿sí?
Okay, yes. Alright vlog, it's come time for me to say goodbye to this wonderful city. Headed out of Managua today, I'm going to try and get to León, another big city. Again, I feel like I've never seen a city, a capital city especially, so run down. But there's the main bus terminal. Alright, let's try and find a bus. León. Allá.
¿A León?
Ah, León, sí.
Venga. Dale. León.
¿A qué hora salir? Alright guys, I'm here in León now, the first capital of the revolution. It looks like there's a little bit more going on here than there was in Managua, in the center of the capital. I feel pretty safe walking into town. It's not too expensive to get a tuk-tuk or a taxi into town. It's only like $2 or $3 US, but I think it's always nice to walk, especially if it's safe. The thing is though, when I'm walking around towns like this or places like this, just gotta be careful to not be too overt about filming. I do have an iPhone and I've not seen a single person here in this country with an iPhone. So I have to be careful with just having it out. And with my 2 backpacks also, it's very clear, very obvious that I'm not from here. And I basically plant a target on myself. But I think I'm fine. So I did a little bit of Googling on the bus. I saw that Nicaragua is the second poorest country in North America by GDP per capita. It's about $2,000. In comparison, in Costa Rica, just one country over, it's $11,000. And a lot of the economy here is still very informal businesses. So, people selling stuff on the street, a lot of cash transactions. It's quite hard for the people here to really pull themselves out of this economic situation themselves. There was a lot of rich people here in Nicaragua, but they all left the country during the revolution when the old dictatorship was being overthrown. A lot of them left and fled for Miami. So there's not a lot of capital, not a lot of people here in this country that want to turn it around, or that can turn it around. A lot of people here want change. It's just kind of hard to see that happen when you're just trying to make your ends meet from day to day. And, I think it's very important to see and recognize that, and coming into a country like this and seeing it firsthand. I feel like my opinions on Nicaragua have shifted a little bit, where before I came here, I was under the impression that, a lot of the operations against the dictator, against Somoto, were caused by the CIA, and it's very easy to think that a country is this poor because of the US. However, now that I'm here, I realize that a lot of the problems are also caused by Nicaragua's own government. And it's a lot of greed, a lot of power, hungry politicians wanting to hold on to power and not sharing, not distributing their wealth. But maybe I should wait until I'm out of the country before I post this online. You know, I think there is still some level of hope here in this country. The Nicaraguans are a very resilient people after going through really everything, that all the political troubles that they go through. I was in Managua last night just talking to the local receptionist guy, and he was telling me in 2018 there were protests against the government. After those protests, he told me that the women on the streets, people on the streets, they're still smiling. And they have to smile, because if you don't smile and you don't get yourself through troubled times, then how will you tell your kids that they're going to be able to make it through? So it was quite a sad story, but it's the reality of living here in this country and with this government. I need some eggs, I need some avocados. Hola. Por aguacate, ¿cuánto cuesta? 60. Por 200 es okay?
Estos dos te cuestan 100 los dos.
Okay, 2 por 100, por favor. Alright guys, I'm on top of some church right now. And it seems like this world is not immune from Chinese tourists. The heart of every Central American city, really every city in the world, is the market. You can't see the city without seeing the market. So currently I'm at El Mercado Central Market in the middle of León. Stopped for some food. So yesterday I went on a walking tour around the city with a guide. It's a free walking tour, and that's also one of the best ways to see a city when you're in a place for the first time, because you're with a local guide. The guide brought us here to the market and he showed us the stall, which is kind of an indigenous local stall. Gracias. So what I have here is carne en bajo, I think, which is a local indigenous food from the local tribe called the Sukyaba tribe. It's a very simple dish in terms of ingredients. It's just plantains, some meat, and the meat is extremely tender. All the meat is just in a huge simmering pot, so all the flavors are sitting there getting locked up for whoever knows how long. There's coleslaw, like sauerkraut on the top. It's very healthy, very well balanced meal. Alright guys, I'm back at the bus terminal today, trying to hit to Matagalpa. We'll see if that happens or not. Alright guys, arrived in Matagalpa. Right now I have to figure out how to get to my hostel. It's actually pretty early, it's only 10:30 in the morning. So I have plenty of time today to go see the city. I'm actually really excited to be here because this is like the coffee, cacao capital of Nicaragua. It's where they grow all of their stuff. So I'm excited to get some coffee here. And I'm also just excited to be out of León because it was so imposingly hot there. Like it was 36 degrees the entire time I was there. Being up in the mountains right now feels like it's a nice 26, 28. Even in this little regional town of Matagalpa, there are the Chinese. It's crazy. They just have stores everywhere. And yesterday I was talking to this guy, local guy, and I asked him, there's a lot of Chinese here. The people here, do you like the Chinese? And he said yes, surprisingly. I feel like the Chinese are bringing in a lot of stuff, and it's kind of competing with the local markets and the people selling stuff in the markets. But he said that the Chinese stuff has provided a lot more variety of goods for the people here. They have access to more stuff. So, I mean, I could see how that would be true. And as long as the people here are okay with that, then I guess Chinese are good. Matagalpa. Alright guys, so climbed to the top of this hill overlooking Matagalpa. And on top of it is another one of those trees of life thingies, which I've actually since learned is not meant to signify that all trees lead to Managua. Instead, it was planted, or I guess a little propaganda device used by the First Lady, the wife of President Ortega, I guess to make the country look a little nicer. We're here at the top. There's no one here, maybe because it's a Thursday afternoon. But here, we'll be able to see the entire city. Oh, there it is. It's beautiful. So I'm coming to the end of my time here in Nicaragua. I'm spending a couple of days here, then heading towards the border with Honduras. And I'm starting to get a fuller picture of the country, and it's not really what I expected of it. You know, I've talked to a lot of the locals here about the political situation, living situation here in Nicaragua, and I think there's a lot of apathy because there's not really much that people can do here to change their situation. There's no choice in the government. You just kind of have to live under it. There's also still a lot of hope that things will get better, despite there not being much of a track record of change. You know, in the spirit of the revolution, the one thing that I really commend the Sandinistas on is the ideals that they were founded on in bringing power back to their people. I look down at this valley, and I think it's really important to remember that all these people here living on relatively much less than what I am living on, they are still a lot closer to me and to everyone else here that's watching this video in terms of living quality than the very top 0.01% of billionaires that really hold the power in the world. So it also makes me feel very much apathetic that I can't really do a lot to change the state of the world. But still, there's hope for the future that, you know, there's power in the people, and we'll soon see some change in how the global world order is laid out. It's been a really interesting time here coming to Nicaragua. It's been very different from Guatemala, despite being so close, being in the same region. But that's why we travel, to see and learn a little bit more about the world. Alright guys, I am currently in Esteli. I'm on my way to the border of Honduras. I'm crossing it tomorrow hopefully, but I'm transiting through Esteli. It's kind of chaotic here in the bus terminal, but it's not pandemonium. It's just controlled chaos. That has gotta have been the fullest chicken bus I've ever been on. There had to have been like 100 people in there. Every single seat was full. The entire aisle was full. It was crazy. El autobús El Espino ya salieron, no? I am currently in Somoto, and it looks like I just missed my connection. You can see in the distance over there. Oh, that's my bus actually. Perfect. Espino, okay. Looks like my bus was just late. I was gonna say there's like thunder clouds in the distance, and I'm glad that it didn't start raining yet. You know, these buses don't have AC, so if you pull the windows up to stop the rain, it stops the ventilation as well. Alright vlog, that's the road on to Honduras. It's only about 10-15 minutes down that way. Staying here for the night. I am honestly a little nervous about transiting Honduras. I'm not staying there for a night at all. I'm just transiting and heading straight to El Salvador. It's just a little sketchy, you know, hearing all the stories about Honduras. But there'll be for me to worry about tomorrow. For now, we'll check in and spend the night here. Okay. Perfecto.
El chico que está durmiendo acá en esta habitación
Sí.
de Austria, un joven, 23 años tiene. Él va también mañana a El Salvador, que
okay.
va, no sé si 5:30 o 7 de la mañana.
Yo puedo ir con él.
Sí, puedes ir con él mejor, porque así Entre los dos es mucho mejor.
La frontera a Choluteca.
Sí,
Y...
puedes tomarle una foto.
Alright. I just met my travel companion for tomorrow. I am not gonna lie, I was very nervous about crossing Honduras by myself. I know it's doable and it's fine and nothing's gonna happen, but I now feel exponentially safer going with someone else. So things work out for the best. I'm very happy, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. For tonight. It's a small but very functional room. I have a whole double bed to myself and privacy as well for the very, very low price of $7. This is so nice. Alright guys, I have just showered and the sun is setting. My last day in Nicaragua is coming to an end, and I'm gonna end my vlog here. The country is beautiful, it's very safe. I have not felt unsafe here at all. It's a great country. I would love to come back again one day. But, yep, tomorrow I'm going to be crossing into Honduras. Really happy to be here in Central America. Look at that sunset out the window. Alright, that's it. I won't ramble anymore. See you in the next vlog. Bye-bye.